Sit next to you. Please, sir. How are you doing? Huh? How are you doing? Ready to go home? End of the day for me. What's the last thing? How about yourself? This is just the beginning.
6 o'clock, call the meeting to order.
Amy Teal,
Present.
Vicki Wilson. Here. Cheryl Taylor West. Here. Valerie Peacock. Here. Jason Nance.
Here.
All are present, we have a quorum.
Line item 3. Cheryl,
I got married.
Thank you for having us all gathered here together in this government meeting for our community, the City of Whitney and the surrounding areas. First of all, let us thank you for the youth that have come to be part of this. We want them to know that they matter to us, and it is our goal to leave a brighter future for them than what we live in today. There has been a lot of stress along the world and in our country over the last couple of weeks. We ask you to bring us together as a community in some of the activities that have happened recently where businesses are helping each other, neighbors are helping each other, and we work together as a team and as a community to make Whitney the very best place to be. Thank you and amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. Pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Public comment. We're receiving petitions at this time. Anyone will be allowed to speak on any matter other than personnel matters. Any matter not specifically listed for public hearing elsewhere on the agenda or matters under litigation for a length of time not to exceed 4 minutes. No council, board discussion, or action may take place on a matter until such matter has been placed on an agenda and posted in accordance with Texas Government Code Section 551042. We'll go in at 6:02. Our first speaker is Jolie Matthews.
Hello, my name is Jolie Matthews. I am a student at Whitney High School.
Speak up.
I am a member of the student council. I want to speak about life at Wildcat Drive, HCR 1240,
That's a text dot question.
Text
That's
dot
text dot highway.
Okay, all right. So, by way of process, their next thing would be to take this to text dot.
And they've been contacted by the school, so having the students request that would really help.
All right, you guys have a lot of work ahead of you. Thank you for coming.
We're gonna speak with Jason Sneed.
Greetings, Madam Mayor and Council. I want to go on the record, great job with public speaking, even pastors get a little frightened when we hear public speaking. Awesome job with our students here. I'm going to stick to my notes because I want to be deliberate and quick. Just a few short months ago, a friend of mine and a peer in the ministry were sitting around on my front porch and talking about the division in our community and what we could do at our level to resolve it. Since that brainstorming, we have had a highly successful community-wide joint youth group function in August with over 300 students from multiple church communities in attendance. We plan to replicate that event quarterly, with the next one being on November 12th, tied in with the FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Fields of Faith event. We pray that this event is even better attended and that many young lives could be affected. We, which again is multiple youth pastors and adult leaders from several churches and all these kids, are also coordinating to make our See You at the Pole event this next Wednesday, the 24th, as well attended as possible. I say all of that for two main points. The first is obvious. We want the community to be aware of and involved in these events and ultimately help impact our youth of the community in a positive manner. But secondly, and equally as important, we hope that the example set by children, that different people across the community can come together for a common goal and impact our community for the better, dropping divisions and egos, is noticed. And we pray that the adults of the community, to include the community leadership, will take notes. Sowing strife is not spoken of well in the scriptures. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And that's 607. On consent agenda, line item 6, deliberate and act on ordinance 2025-0903, adopting the tax rate of .764 per hundred for the fiscal year 2025-2026. Anybody have anything to say on it? Oh, I'm so sorry.
I make a motion that we adopt and act on our ordinance 2025-0903, adopting the tax rate of .5764 per $100 for the fiscal year 2025-2026.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Vicki Wilson and a second by Cheryl Taylor West. Katie Teal,
I oppose property taxes on principle, so I will be voting no.
Vicki Wilson,
Yes.
Valerie Peacock,
Yes.
Cheryl Taylor West,
Yes.
Jason Pence.
Yes.
We have 4 yeses, 1 no, motion passes.
Line item 7, deliberate and act on resolution 2025-0902, which will ratify the property tax increase for the fiscal year 2025-2026.
Council, you voted on the rate, now this is just ratifying the rate.
I make a motion that we ratify and act on resolution 2025-09-02, which will ratify the property tax increase for the fiscal year 2025-2026.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Vicki Wilson and a second by Cheryl Taylor West. Katie Teal,
Same reason, second vote, no. Thank you.
Vicki Wilson, Cheryl Taylor West,
Yes, ma'am.
Jason Ince.
Yes.
We have 4 yeses, 1 no, motion passes.
Line item 9, deliberate and act on temporary closing. Deliberate and act on an application for the family place grant and authorize the mayor to sign a letter of support.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, citizens, with a nice full room tonight. I'm Christy Rogers, Director of the Library here in Whitney. The request that's before you at this moment is your permission or your agreement to allow the mayor to sign a letter of support for the library to apply for a Family Place grant. The Family Place Libraries Training Institute provides theoretical grounding and practical training for library staffers in family-centered library services. It expands the traditional role of children's services. The participants build on the knowledge, so the couple of staffers that will go will build on the knowledge that good health, early learning, parent-guardian involvement, and supportive communities play a critical role in young children's growth. It is allowing, the grant itself will allow for the training of the staffers. It will allow for all of the funding to support those early literacy, good health, behavioral persons to come into the library. It will provide manipulative toys, items, books on parenting. It will pay for the travel, the stipend for the food, everything for the training. So my ask is for the mayor to be able to sign a letter of support, which is all that I need. The municipality can apply for this grant. It does not have to be a nonprofit. It doesn't have to be any of the other entities supporting the library. But I need her letter of support in order to be able to apply. Last year, I did ask sort of what our chances were. Last year, there were about 20 applicants, and 10 of them are awarded. So whether your glass half full or half empty, I feel like that's pretty good odds. So that is my ask. Can I answer any questions for you?
I would just like to add that this is for the public. There's a lot of information about what she's talking about in the public packet that's on the city's website and the agenda. Go check it out so you know what's being considered.
This is a 3-year commitment for the library. So the first year is the training and planning of the staffers, obtaining the equipment, gathering the partners that would help us, and these are trained children's behavioral persons that would come in and really opens up an opportunity at no charge to the city or the taxpayers for the citizens and the youngest of our community.
If I may, I've worked in behavioral science a number of years, my whole career, and I am concerned about the family issues that are facing us, and I often told my own college students, we teach you how to be plumbers or engineers or teachers or whatever job you go into, but where do we learn to be parents and partners? We really don't. The example you have is from your own family, and some of us didn't have very good examples there. So I am completely in support of having experts come in, and if I can assist in any way, please let me know, to come in and give us these valuable tools to help us find better ways to negotiate our family situations and respond in more positive ways as members of the community and future leaders that you all will be.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to, make a motion that we act on, that you are allowed to sign a contract for this application, for support.
Got a motion by Vicki Wilson, a second by Jason Ince. Amy Teal,
Abstain?
Vicki Wilson,
Yes.
Valerie Peacock,
Yes.
Cheryl Taylor West,
Yes.
Jason Ince.
Yes.
We have 4 yeses, 1 abstain, motion passes.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Christy.
Line item 9, deliberate and portion of South Brazos Street on October 3rd, 2025, and approving the painting of the intersection at West Washington Avenue and South Brazos Street in honor of the 50th anniversary of Pioneer Days.
The Chamber of Commerce would like to paint the intersection. There's a picture in your packet of what would like to be done here. It's the 50th year, so speaking with the mayor, she said that they're going to power wash the street off, paint, and then power wash it afterwards. So she has more specific details than I do, but it will require the street to be closed temporarily in the morning for this to happen. And any time that we close a public street, we have to have council's authorization to do so. So that's why this is on the agenda.
I am actually in favor of letting the public use the streets for all kinds of things. I did have, my first clarification was the cleanup schedule, and you said that was gonna be basically right after?
No, it'll be Sunday morning.
Sunday morning. Yeah,
Everything will be cleaned before the court opens.
there you go. And just for clarification, because it was asked, these authorizations to use the streets for Pioneer Days only apply to the streets, not the sidewalks, right?
Correct.
Yeah. All right. I will move that the chamber, or I'm sorry, I will move that the council act to temporarily close a portion of South Brazos Street on October 3rd and approve the painting of the intersection at West Washington Avenue and South Brazos Street in honor of the 50th anniversary of Pioneer Days.
Got a motion by Amy Teal, seconded by Councilmember Valerie Peacock. Amy Teal,
Yes.
Vicki Wilson,
Yes.
Valerie Peacock,
Yes.
Cheryl Taylor West,
Yes.
Jason Hance.
Yes.
We have 5 yeses, motion passes.
Line item 10, deliberate and act on revised agreement between the City of Whitney and Whitney Fire Rescue and authorize the mayor to execute the same.
Council, this was brought up last month, and we said that we were gonna have to revise the agreement between the city and the fire department. In this agreement, amendment that we have to that agreement, it does say in the agreement that, and this is something that I had actually instructed our attorney to put in here, that the fire department would own the equipment after said expenditure. However, was speaking with the Director of Emergency Services and the fire chief, they would prefer that the city retain ownership of that equipment. Counselor, is there an issue at all with any of that?
No, I mean, that's certainly a council decision.
But in our agreement, fire trucks, major equipment is all retained ownership by the city. So the fire chief and the Director of Emergency Services see this as a large expenditure. Even though that $20,000 is coming back in grant funding, they would still like the city to retain ownership of it. So if you so see, we need to make that amendment in the motion that instead of the fire department retaining ownership, that the city retains ownership of.
If the city has ownership, does that mean we get to drive one of the fire trucks?
We currently own them, ma'am. They are titled.
Yeah, not me. We know better than that.
Yeah. I would make sure our insurance is way up. So we're talking about specifically section 2.3, section D, where it says extrication equipment shall be owned by Whitney Fire Rescue, and Whitney Fire Rescue shall maintain such equipment in good working order. I would say that we need to amend that to say owned by the City of Whitney and maintain that Whitney Fire Rescue will maintain it in good working order.
Is there a motion?
Is this for insurance purposes, Billy?
I'm sorry,
Is this for insurance purposes?
insurance purposes?
Is it for insurance purposes?
As far as our maintaining ownership of it, no, it's to just remain consistent with the original agreement. Because all the fire trucks are owned by the city, all the major equipment's owned by the city, so this is just to remain consistent with that. It's really nothing to do with the insurance purposes.
Okay.
Well, I make a motion that we,
adopt this agreement.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Vicki Wilson, second by Cheryl Taylor West. Amy Teal,
Abstain?
Vicki Wilson,
Yes.
Valerie Peacock,
Yes.
Cheryl Taylor West, Jason Ince.
Yes.
We have 4 yeses, 1 abstain, motion passes.
Line item 11, deliberate and act on information provided by the Whitney Fire Rescue on a forestry service grant for the purchase of extrication tools in the amount of $37,527.
Again, council, this is a continuation of last month. The fire department's asking the city to front the cost of the extrication equipment. I misspoke in my last, statement. I said $20,000, it's $25,000. It's coming back, in a forestry service grant. The fire department will pick up, half of the expenditure, and the city would wind up being out of pocket, $6,263.50. So essentially, what we would have to pay for it up front, we would get the $25,000 grant money reimbursed to the city, and $6,263.50 from the fire department.
I have a question, Billy. Was this already included in the budget?
It was not.
Okay, so we'll have to make an amendment to the budget.
And will that go in this year's amendment or next?
It'll have to go in next.
This year's budget is already done and is within $50 of being balanced, basically.
I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to use extrication equipment, but Whitney's extrication equipment has been long needing to be replaced. The trend in the fire service has long been going towards battery operated equipment, not hydraulically operated equipment. It's safer for our firemen to use, it's safer for those that are trapped, and it's just a lot better.
And I was gonna say, could we have, Chief Matthews tell the public basically what we're talking about here?
So basically, the extrication equipment is what you call the jaws of life. We also have cutters and rams that'll bring the car away from the victim, the dashes on them. The other part why we're getting these is because the new cars that are being made now from, I think it was 22 on, has new, stronger alloy steel in them, and our old equipment will not cut them. We had a fatality wreck a couple of months ago, and our tools were about useless trying to get that victim out. It was almost a 30 to 40 minute extrication to get her out and then to get her to the hospital. So these tools are what we call next gen, but they'll cut the new alloy steel. So the grant has already been approved, so we already have that. We're just waiting to get the equipment, get the grant money back.
Chief, it's a horrible thought, it really is, to think that anybody would ever be in that situation, but coming from medical and law enforcement background, I know that seconds count in those situations.
Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we do, provide the money up front and $6,263.55.
Oh, there's one too many zeros.
Yes.
We're about to get a new fire truck.
Portion, and that the volunteer fire department pays out of the portion.
So second.
I will second. Wait, Valerie said, okay.
Amy,
Abstain?
Vicki,
Yes?
Valerie,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Jason.
Yes.
We have 4 yeses, 1 abstain, motion passes.
Thank you.
12, deliberate and act on a contract with, SCAC Network Solutions, converting CD LLC from Municipal Information Technology Services not to exceed $32,500, effective October 1, 2025, and authorize the mayor to execute the same.
Council, this is what we talked about, Ben retiring, effective October 1, Ben will be part-time. This is the contracted services that we talked about in both our budget meetings before. This is already put into the budget, this is just affirming that contract and moving forward with that service. And we'll make that effective October 1 when the new fiscal year starts.
We won't have anybody in that full-time position again.
No, ma'am.
Is there a motion? Hello?
I'll make a motion that we contract with SEAC Network Solutions for municipal information technology services not to exceed $32,500 effective October 1st, 2025, and authorize the mayor to execute the same.
And I'll second.
Y'all are on a roll.
I'm grateful that we have people that can think that way, because that's very advanced.
Yes.
Amy Teal,
Abstain.
Vicki Wilson,
Yes.
Valerie Peacock,
Yes.
Cheryl Taylor West,
Yes.
Jason Evans.
Yes.
4 yeses, 1 abstain, motion passes.
Line item 13, deliberate and act on establishing a purpose of use for 117 West Washington Avenue.
As we discussed the last, regular meeting, we were trying to figure out what the purpose of the use was going to be, and one of the things that the council indicated is they would like to get with their constituents and ask questions of what the community wanted to see that building be. Should the city retain ownership? Should the city decide to take bids on that property? So I had 2 emails sent to me by one council member, and the mayor sent me her feedback. I forgot to print the mayor's, but it's pretty much in line. Councilmember Cheryl Taylor West sent me an email, and I'll just go ahead and read the email out to everybody so you can hear what it says. Good morning. I conducted an informal survey on my Facebook page regarding plans for the location at 117 West Washington Avenue in Whitney. Overwhelmingly, responses were the desire for the City of Whitney to maintain the building, and the major type of use expressed was a form of community center. Several respondents had suggestions for asbestos abatement that I think we should be looking into even before hiring an expert, so that we have a range of ideas. The mayor's was pretty much the exact same, that her responses were a community center. And with that, I'll yield to the council. However you heard or what you'd like to say.
I also did a survey on my Facebook page, and I had several uses, but the main thing over and over was a community center, and I totally agree that we definitely need something like that.
Taxpayers I've talked to don't wanna try to pay for it when we still gotta handle roads and wastewater treatment plant. So, it would be great to see it as a community center. We did walk through it. It is in really rough shape. The city objectively does not have the money to pursue fixing this property. It is,
The feedback I got was to look into grant funding to help pay for some of that. The value of a historic building in our downtown area, which so many people are attracted to the City of Whitney because of the history and the downtown buildings, made it appealing to go ahead and do what we can to preserve it with the assistance of grant funding. And if I did not include that in my email, I apologize.
May I speak? Also, with it being a community center, we can also go out for the grants and take donations, whereas if it's a city-owned building and used for city usage, we would not be able to do that. The city would have to pay for everything out of pocket. And as Councilwoman Teal said, we do not, as a city, have the funds for that. However, for something as useful as a community center, we could go out for the outlay of the money instead of coming onto the city.
Counselor, I have a question. Being as we have submitted our Attorney General's opinion about donations, we've made a backup plan to ask for TML to negotiate and lobby on our behalf. If the council so decides that they would like to continue with a community center, is it possible to pass a resolution by the council or indicating that it's a recreational building? Would that open it up for donations?
That would
Is
put
a
it-
community center
That
fall
would put it
under?
securely under the Parks and Rec statute.
Yeah, I mean, I think a community center is a Parks and Rec, type building.
So we wouldn't have to, have the council pass by resolution, but the Cato, community center, because I think it's important that we maintain the heritage of that building as the Cato building and not the Mustard Seed building. It was the Cato building for a long time, and we need to honor that family that has been in this community for so long. I would suggest if the council so desires to maintain that building, that we absolutely need to make sure that it falls under that Parks and Recreation area, so we can accept donations to help rebuild that building. Otherwise, as I told you many, many times when we had these discussions about acquiring that building, it's gonna be a significant investment on the city's behalf.
And this is something where the discussions can continue in the monthly Parks Board meetings. So if you kids, if anybody's in the city limits of Whitney and over 18, we are accepting applications to serve on the Parks Board.
Okay, do we have a motion on this?
I make a motion that we do, establish the purpose of a community center for 117 West Washington Avenue.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Got a motion by Vicki Wilson and a second by Cheryl Taylor West. Amy Teal,
Abstain.
Vicki Wilson,
Yes.
Valerie Peacock,
Yes.
Cheryl Taylor West,
Yes.
Jason Ants.
Yes.
We got 4 yeses, 1 abstain to establish the building as a community center.
On item 14, deliberate and act on ordinance 2025-0904, budget amendment in the amount of $175,547.41. The city provides the following information in compliance with Texas Government Code 551.043. A copy of the city's proposed budget may be located on the city's homepage of its website at www.cityofwhitneytexas.org, and taxpayer impact statement for the median valued homestead property, a comparison of the current property tax bill in dollars pertaining to the property of the current fiscal year. An estimate of the proposed budget is adopted for the following fiscal year, and an estimate of a balanced budget at the no new revenue tax rate for the upcoming fiscal year is below. I don't need to read the rest of it.
Well, that's a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, legislature.
I think we've read it 1,000 times already anyway.
Council, both the Wildcat Drive expenditure as indicated in this and the air conditioner were both brought to you for approval. The roof repairs was for this library of $4,700. That's something that insurance did not cover. That's within the range of the financial policy for the mayor to approve, so that was not brought to you for approval because it's already inside that scope. But both those other 2 expenditures were brought to you because they are outside that scope, and this is just to true up those line items. As I've told you in both of those, that we would have to do a budget amendment at the end of the year to square those GLs up. So this is just to true those line items up.
That's on this budget.
That is on
And
this,
it still
yes.
puts us within $50.
No. This is on this fiscal year, not next year. So this trues up what we spent out of this year's budget.
What we already said we were gonna spend.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, we spent this money. This is just a formality of saying, instead of it looking like we're in the negative, that we're truing that budget up.
I make a motion that we, act on the ordinance 2025-0904, budget amendment in the amount of $175,537.41.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Vicki Wilson, seconded by Jason Ants. Amy Teal,
Abstain.
Vicki Wilson,
Yes.
Valerie Peacock,
Yes.
Cheryl Taylor West,
Yes.
Jason Ants.
Yes.
4 yeses, 1 abstain.
council, again, this is a continuation that was tabled last time about accepting a special use permit, special events permit for Texas Takeover to be able to use the fields. The question that we did not know at that time, since we've given WWFL priority use of that field, is would there be a conflict of schedule? Chris Brennan, our Public Works Director, reached out to WWFL. He said, and I'm gonna read this email verbatim here, talk to WWFL, they do not have plans for anything except the end of October. Beginning of November, they will begin working on the fields again. So they may be down a field for work near the end of that time. They are planning on working one field at a time, so as long as Takeover can work around that, there should not be an issue. I know that WWFL also does not practice on Wednesdays to allow for church. So they're asking for use of the field from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. every Tuesday and Wednesday until November 3rd.
Yeah, and also, I think we had a question on the fees and everything, because we have not in the past, and understand based on our fee schedule, we are supposed to be charging, correct?
So there is use in our fee schedule for use of lights, use of fields, things like that. I did want to ask the counselor a question, mainly for point of clarification, and maybe you can expand on this a little bit. Since it's a public park, how does that change the realm of people being able to use it for practice?
So, most fee, and I haven't looked at your fee schedule, but most fee schedules, even in public parks, if you want to, if you want to just show up and play soccer and not reserve anything, then you don't have to pay fees. But if you want to reserve something, like if you want to reserve a park for a birthday party, you need to pay the fee, so it's yours to use.
I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood, since it's a public park, if they're asking for use of lights, that's why we have that in the fee schedule, to reimburse the city for cost of said lights. So I just wanted to kind of put that point out there. We do have a field usage fee in our schedule as well. They did not indicate in their permit how many fields they wanted to use or anything like that. So the only thing that they've said is they want to use it every Tuesday and Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. until November 3rd.
Again,
Oh, it does say field number 2. It does say number of fields 2. I'm so sorry.
and this is an example of teamwork and cooperation, which I value so much in the community, especially if there's not a conflict between the two during the time that it's going to be used.
So I guess the question now to the council is, do you approve it, and upon payment of the said fees, fee schedule, I don't know where to go with that from there.
Have you looked at the fee schedule versus what the actual cost of the utilities?
I think it's only $20 an hour for field rental or lights. I think, I'm not, don't get me wrong, I would have to look it up. So I don't know what the fee versus actual cost is. That'd be very hard to determine, but I mean, we can figure it out.
Well, and Councilmember Teal, fees have to be set based on costs, and so I imagine when the fees were originally set, and I'm not a utility expert, but utilities have only gone up, so, but I don't know about, the ratio between existing and what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the council voted last October on the new fee schedule, so I'm not sure. Like you said, we can't make money off of it. It's simply reimbursement costs.
So they have to pay the $250.
Unless the council waives it, but again, like,
That's a
it's a
donation,
gift.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
For the whole time, right?
The whole year, the whole season is $250, correct? That's the way I read it?
That's on this permit. I don't know if it says that in the fee schedule. This is an old permit that needs to be updated very badly, in a bad way. Because it should indicate on this, when somebody comes in to fill a form out, it should indicate all these fees. And this one does not.
youth and adult associations will be charged a $250 fee for a full season. Is it your opinion that this permit is reflecting a full season?
They're not really.
No, they don't have necessarily a season because it's a select team.
They play.
Right.
So it's not like a rec league.
So the $250 doesn't actually apply on this particular piece of paper.
No, and as I said, I think that, again, we can hold this, but these fees that are indicated on this piece of paper here aren't actually indicative of what's actually in our fee schedule. So this needs to be updated. This permit application.
Can we even, Jennifer, can we even, do anything on this without knowing for sure the fees, or do we just say within the fee range?
Right, so if council so chose to do, you could make a motion, approving the special event permit with, fees as reflected in the fee schedule.
Do we have anybody here from Texas Takeover?
There is kind of that thing of we're getting ready to change the paper they sign.
Well, I mean, we're not talking our fees will go up more than what's already on this paper, more than likely go down, correct, Billy?
I believe they will go up significantly.
Go up? Okay.
Well, because this doesn't indicate anything about light usage or anything like that.
Okay, so then I say we table this to next month, or, but, well,
Wait a minute.
wait, because this is actually,
Because they wanted it.
they need to use it.
Weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's what they needed.
If we table this till October, there's
There's
only
gonna
one
be-
more month
Yeah.
left
Okay.
on their application.
If you guys have talked to them, do you think they're going to be upset if council passes this and then the fees are more than they expected?
I think, given the history of the individual, he was gonna be upset that we're charging fees at all.
I agree. I agree. There should not be a fee, it's not an event, it's a practice. If it was a tournament, it'd be something different.
But I understand that this is this person's, what they do
He
for
does
a
it for a
business,
living.
for a
He
living,
makes money
so
off of it.
that makes it different to me.
It's not a rec league, again, it's a select team, yes, it's a different entity in and of itself. But it's not the rec league that we have an agreement with WWFL.
And I will go on record as someone who has been abstaining on several of these motions because I don't agree with spending taxpayer money on a lot of these things. We are looking at specific use of utilities out there. If they need the city to flip on a light switch, that bill's gotta be paid some way or another. I'm not opposed to voting to approve an event application where specific costs are being covered. My problem right now is that those costs are unclear and objectively out of date according to what has been signed and agreed to by the applicant. So I'm not really sure how to proceed on this in good faith.
I think the correct answer here would be to go ahead and say that their practices from 8/19 to 11/3 as indicated on this constitutes a full season that they signed on this paper, and that totally reimburses access to the lights and field use, and it's just one lump sum instead of us having to try to itemize it out. They sign and just say that it's for a full season. It's a full season of their practices.
So two bills is $50 and $250 is, so it makes it $350?
No,
Is that what you're saying?
250 for a full season, for 2 fields.
So it'd be 500 for 2.
I think it's it says individual event requests are $25 per field. Youth and adult associations will be charged $250 fee for a full season. It doesn't say per field, but I guess it could be construed as both per field, but however the council wants to interpret that.
Well, we could also make a motion, or I can make a motion to say that we agreed to this event schedule based on them agreeing to paying the fees that we have on our fee schedule.
That's correct, that's what Counselor said, however, Councilmember Steele's point is, those fees are not clearly indicated on this application to which they put into the city. So, I think that to meet in the middle ground there is to say that you can have access to 2 fields for the indicated $250 for a full season on this application. That covers use of 2 fields and lights if so needed during that time frame.
I don't think they're gonna need lights. Time changes, man. Unless they stay later.
6 a.m.
So they don't need lights?
I don't think that they will, but.
If they go to 8 o'clock, yes, they would.
Well, it's not on
It
the-
says,
But
yeah,
but
that does,
it'd be
yeah.
darker earlier.
Yeah.
The only mixed emotions I have with it, everything is, if it's red, okay, it's nonprofit. And I'm going off the past. Red, the parents and everybody put the time in the fields. So then you have to look at that differently. Also in the past, Select was not a profitable organization. I mean, the teams that were around when we were involved was not profit. It was not a business. Even though some of them thought, you know. In other words, nobody made a living off of it. We just did what we thought a step above for our kids and our community to compete. The only thing that I have with this here is an organization that is making it a business and making a profit.
Exactly.
But as far as the select, yes, it does.
Very good living at it.
But if a select team, so if I put a select team together and go and play select, and I'm not putting money in my pocket, then that's a little different. But nowadays, these organizations are making a living off of it. All over, I mean, every town. And that's the only problem I have is whenever somebody's making a living on it. As far as the select part goes, if it was nonprofit, I still don't have a problem letting them use it. So that's where I'm at, I'm kinda in the middle.
Is there nobody here from Texas Takeover to represent them? Speak for them?
Not tonight, I don't see nobody.
Well, at the top, it does say $25 per field plus and $250 association fee, are due, but,
It does indicate that.
yeah.
So for our city attorney, this is essentially a legal contract, right?
No, it's an application.
Just an application.
Yes.
But once we agree to it, then the party who has signed it is subject to the statements that are on this document, correct?
So certainly, they're signing an application, which is a government document, so they have to accurately reflect facts in the application. It's still not a contract. They would owe, whatever fees. Billy's suggestion is perfectly okay if y'all want to comply with if y'all want to go with the fees on the application, because that's what they are anticipating, that's what they signed, that would be fine. If the council wanted to, assess the, current fees, that would be an okay, solution as well, so it's just up to the council. You're not limited in the fees just because that's what they expect and that's what they signed in the application. But either way, I think is an okay way to go, legally, I'm not talking politically, right?
Now, I am to Councilman Ince's statement as far as the field, how if it's misused, is there not a way we can go ahead and say, you know, as long as, you know, if they do misuse this, if the field becomes unusable or has issues after they're using it, them to make repairs?
So, normally when people pay the fees, it's to recompense the city for the city's costs. If the city was very concerned about an entity not maintaining a property or handling a property well, it probably would behoove us to do some kind of use agreement so they bind themselves to insurance and indemnify the city, and that's not what normally a special events permit does. But certainly, going forward, we could do some kind of use agreement with an entity like this to make sure that they put things back in a good condition.
This one does say, for the record, the applicant will be responsible for any damages that occur to the facilities at the Whitney City Park. Facilities include but are not limited to baseball fields, roadways, open area fields, restrooms, playground, concession stand, and fencing. Deposit will be applied towards the repair or maintenance shall there be an issue. Applicant is accepting responsibility for any damages that may occur, and failure to ensure all of the above could result in a fine or civil judgment. So, with all of this, I am comfortable moving that we act on this, that we approve this special event permit with Texas Takeover for $25 per field and $250 association fee, as stated at the very top of the paper.
For the dates.
As submitted.
Is there a second? I'll second it.
We got a motion by Amy Teal, seconded by Vicki Wilson. Amy,
Yes?
Vicki,
Yes.
Valerie,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Jason.
Yes.
We got 5 yeses, motion passes.
Line 16, deliberate and act on a variance application, 14.02.026B1, accessory building regulations for 301 North Natchez Street.
Is there anybody here from 301 North Natchez?
No, he's not here.
Okay, so this gentleman has filled out an application for a variance, for setbacks. He's wanting to put a, accessory building is what you call it, by legal definition, carport, garage, and all those would be considered accessory use to said structure. The zoning ordinance, requires that there be a front, a side and rear yard setback. The side yard setback is 8 feet, rear yard setback is 10 feet. And here it says, any garage constructed in a residential or apartment district shall have a setback not less than 10 feet from a street or alley line which it faces. This gentleman's asking for a variance to 2 feet, off his rear property line and, fence line to build this structure. I would remind the council that variances are very specific in when you can allow variances, and it must create an undue hardship to the owner. Variances are for the property, not the property owner. Counselor, if I'm misspeaking in any way, please stop me.
No, Billy is correct. Variances are, when there's undue hardship from a special condition of the property, special conditions that affect the land, so not necessarily, sometimes you hear applicants say, I need this so I can, sit in the shade. Well, that's not exactly, it's about the condition of the land. The other factors are that it's necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right, and it will not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare. And so, anyway, so those are the additional, Billy pointed out the most important factor, there's other additional factors.
Well, I guess my only comment is 2 feet is not that.
I'm sorry, say that again?
2 feet, is that what I heard? That's what he's asking for?
He's asking for 2 foot, for a 2 foot setback off property line, instead of the 8 or 10. as
He wants to put it up to,
2
just
feet
right,
from his
2
fence.
feet from the fence, not what you're thinking.
He's not asking a variance for 2 feet off the ordinance, he's wanting to move it to 2 foot from the property line, instead of the 8 or 10 as indicated by the ordinance.
And forked out a check of $150 just to ask us to do this.
That's correct.
I would like to move that we approve this variance and refund his $150.
He wants to do it closer.
He wants to move it closer where?
There's a motion on the table. Point of order.
Well, with the second, we can actually discuss the motion and amend it as needed.
Okay, so without a second, motion dies.
Okay.
Hey. I have a question. When we make a motion to grant the variance, I mean, you don't have to agree to the same thing what she was saying to make a motion.
Right, you can make a different motion.
I'd make motion was, to agree to allowing the variance of to do what he's gotta do. But I do have a question though, before I don't even know how I need to say that. But what else is it for?
So, in y'all's fee schedule, he has made an application for a variance. And so the $150 is to consider the variance, and so that is a fee, because he is going to be within the setback. And so it's just like a fee for a zoning change.
It's like a change, just for the change,
So
okay.
what you gonna do
So it's
about
gonna
the
cost money to do the change. So if we make a motion to agree to the variance that he needs to build his building, is what I wanna make a motion on that part.
So to be clear, you're asking for a motion to grant the variance for the setback change for
Correct.
301 North Natchez.
Correct.
To be 2 feet from the street.
It's an alleyway. It's an alleyway. It's actually the property of, the lawyer Weaver, that house, if anybody's familiar with that. So it'd be an alley where he's doing it at, inside his fence.
Inside his fence.
Inside his fence. Is the way I'm looking at it on this map.
It's an unusual lot
Mhm.
configuration.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Jason Nance, second by Vicky Wilson to agree to the variance for the setback. Amy,
Yes?
Vicky,
Yes.
Valerie,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
5 yeses, motion passes.
Executive session. If during the course of the meeting covered by this notice, the city council should determine that a closed or executive meeting or session of the city council or consultation with the attorney for the city should be held or is required, then such closed or executive meeting or session or consultation with the attorney is authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.001, etc., will be held by the city council at the date, hour, and place given in the notice, as the city council may conveniently meet such closed or executive meeting or session, or consult with the attorney for the city concerning any and all subjects for any and all purposes permitted by the act, including but not limited to the following sections of purposes. Texas Government Code 551.071, consultation with the attorney at and personnel. 551.074.
I don't know how to.
TBU's not bad, man. I love TBU. It's a really good school.
They are not gonna fix the streets, and they're not gonna give them. We're gonna have a building
On the executive, where the plug fell down.
That's what I
Onto
need
the-
to tell them.
My daughter's on a varsity volleyball team.
It's unbelievable what they. Well, this stuff is still running, so we can step outside for a minute. Or at least I'm gonna.
Maybe we could open up a business selling drinks and desserts during executive session. Refreshments.
Well, you can get some brownies. They've already got it planned out, who's gonna do what. And they're.
Only if those donations go to the library.
Keep working it, girl.
I'll work it. We're gonna get there.
I should say that I said that knowing that the video was still streaming to the world. So I should have warned everybody to remember that.
Well, if we don't know that by now.
You've made reports before that had a lot of detail, and you even reported the number of volumes that are in circulation at some point. Information versus. I'm telling you this, or I'm telling you this because someone said to me today. You got whatever that nobody did in the books, and I said, I think that he did, but I couldn't quote any numbers.
Yes, I can pull all of those
I didn't need the exact numbers, I was just, I'd like to know what I'm talking about, or with someone. I've got a card that's been in here.
It's more than books.
Well, that's-
This is a common, I don't know, it's almost like Mythbuster time. A lot of what our structure is here now. Yes, we have books, yes, people come in and check out books, we have a lot of kids that check out books, we have a lot of retired or elderly patrons. But we have a significant number of computer users and persons who
That's,
come in
that was
for
my next question.
help.
Yeah,
Yeah, direct one-on-one help doing
I've
things.
seen public interest, type lobbying. I don't watch any TV except for football, so it must have been, they had commercials that somebody paid a ton of money to run their development. And
Right.
it just had a kid who, was like riding the bus or something, and he was saying, I need to do this report, but you have to stop and find internet, and the family pulled up to McDonald's or something, so his homework, public Wi-Fi, and of course, the message was, this is a horrible thing for America, and, so I wondered, this is the kind of community school.
There is a program, and I'm not super well versed in it. Again, this is the first like school year where I've had any kind of footing at all. So there's a program after school that is accessible. I couldn't give you any numbers or information on it. I think there is an opportunity for that particular age group. But you have to think about this too. How do they get here? There's not a bus that runs to the library after school. The parents are at work, so they're getting home. What happens in that time frame? If you just imagine a typical 8 to 5 schedule, which I would venture a guess that the majority of the people who work in this town are not typical 8 to 5 shifts.
Right.
There's a large service industry. So let's say mom and dad get home at 5, the library closes at 5 or 6 because they simply can't afford staffing to stay open for evening. So I don't know what they're doing. And I think there's an opportunity. Now COVID did change things a lot because a lot of, schools had devices and there was a huge gap. I worked for telecom at that time. And so that's really where the library rental of the Wi-Fi's and giving you the Wi-Fi's, and then there's the program, I can't think of the name right now, that actually funds a Wi-Fi up to, I believe it's $50 or $60 a month through a telecom. So they may still be running on some of those devices that were funded during the COVID years, because I don't believe that particular item has been completely defunded, although I know it is part of what is planned to be defunded. And that just is based on the conversations that we had with E-Rate about what they could provide for us.
I sold that to plus computers to schools when I was a computer salesman. There was no internet in the world at that point. Bought their floppy disks, their work, printed it, locally, I guess someone somewhere else.
I think there's an opportunity with the probably middle school demographic more than a high school demographic. But I don't have a good enough bead on it right now to be able to
What
speak
about
to it.
those elderly, getting to a point where pretty much everybody has been around computers most of their lives, but I remember when I was in college, I was at TCU to Abilene to see if I could find a summer job that had anything to do with computers. There was one computer in town, and it was in a bank. And I went and interviewed with the guy, he had 6 employees helping him run the computer at the First State Bank. And I remember the conversation. He said they came to him like 6 months after he had been running the computer, and they said, we need to do a trial balance. And he said, what was trial balance? They said, we had all the assets and all the expenses and all the income, but to see the balances. And he said, the computer does that all day. It's never out of balance. And they said, what do you mean? So I'm pretty sure we did a trial balance. It's like select number 7, and it came out and they were blown away. So nobody understood it back then, and that was the early 70s. And so I remember all of this stuff from the very beginning. There are people who are even older than me. So do you have people come in who are 85 years old and they say, I want to figure out how to use this computer? Do you have staff to do classes?
So we have offered classes before. What we really have, more of a real world example, is I need to go renew my driver's license, and I cannot walk in or call. I have to have an appointment. Okay, let me help you do that. I need your email. I don't have an email. So that's the real world example. Those people who are stuck in that catch-22 of unfamiliarity, who literally do not have the expected personally identifiable items, and that's a lot of what we end up helping. So those are the challenges. Or you may have someone who, and prepaid phones, can't afford to put their pennies on to get the minutes, but you can use Wi-Fi calling. So they'll come in and they'll say, I've had folks say, can I use the phone? But they have their phone, so we teach them how to use Wi-Fi calling, which is why you may sometimes see someone sitting outside in their car on the phone, because they have to come to the library, the only place they can make a phone call, because they don't have minutes on their prepaid device.
They're seeing
Those
it
are
at
just some
night,
examples.
the Wi-Fi still on at night, isn't it? So somebody could just drive up and park in front of the
And
building,
we've
which
had-
would be valuable.
It's very valuable. There are a lot of people who work from home and goes out of town. That was an example that came up, last week, but that comes up regularly. There's a group of traveling nurses. They actually come out. They work for a business, they come out here into this remote location. They have to gather together. They come here, do their work, take their calls. And they're here sometimes for hours. So those types of things are really more the use cases that occur in this town.
Instead of not just the
Still
tower,
on
the
it,
newer
probably
stuff
about
versus
50,
the older stuff, but the
because we
time
have
difference on the
quite a
older
few
stuff
people
compared
who
to
are
the newer
here
stuff.
That's true too.
for their books. We have patrons that are homebound.
What's funny is
who will
I
call us and
priced.
say, can you pick out 10 books for me?
I
And we
have
pick out
priced.
10 books for them, and we pay attention to what they've read. And then we either stick in a series, or they'll give us feedback on what we pick for them, and we'll pick something else. And then they'll send their daughter or somebody
Oh,
in to
they
stick it
they
in.
send it for it, so you don't really have any extra, and they don't ask you to deliver them or something.
I spoke to a patron today, had a problem yesterday, did not get to pick their books, and I offered to bring them their books. So that's something that we,
That's crazy, I'll be
I mean,
interested to see that.
it's really about the people
Yeah, sure.
and the community and offering that
And
service.
that's fine, as long as
Yes.
assumption.
Sure, right. Now, during COVID, they would deliver, traveling libraries.
Picking up the bookmobile. I shot to the mall, and I mean, Emily, so silly, why would we go up to the bookmobile, so we got a 5-minute drive, she's a man library.
It's different.
Look at it, book about it.
There's a short story by Joe Hill called Late Returns. You should read it, or listen to it. I listened to it on Audible, and you would really enjoy it, I think.
Amy has read me a couple of books as we drive across country. We just sold a car that has more than 200,000 miles on. We just drive them. And other than that,
Not the red van. We
red
didn't sell
van's
it.
gone. It's gone.
Oh, no, the
So
red van's
you might see it at Walmart because it sold it to a guy in Hillsborough, but no, we have a white van, same van. That was 2017, I looked for it 2017, bought it 2019. Dodge Grand Caravan, it's just not cheap. I found a difference just a couple of days ago. It's just, the interchangeable parts.
Did you get active to work?
Yeah. Sometimes. It's read very well.
Come out of executive session at 7:15.
By way of discussion in executive session, I would like to move that we accept the resignation of Chief Scholes as of the 26th, to install Sergeant Hathaway as interim chief, and to direct staff and the mayor to open the application process for a new chief. So,
Do a second.
That's
Amy,
Abstain?
Vicky,
Yes.
Valerie,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
I'll make a
No,
motion.
wait, we were in the library, and just by way of announcement, it is Preparedness Month, National Preparedness Month, and there is some literature set out in the library for Preparedness Month, so everybody should swing by the library and check it out. Motion to adjourn.
7:16.
Yes.
Okay, let me finish this. Good night, everybody.